Live.
What's
Welcome, everyone.
happening? What's
The most
happening?
important thing in AI going on right now is Arsenal versus Real Madrid, obviously.
Champions League, yes. Zero
There we
zeros at
go.
the half.
Zeros at the half. It's all right. It's all right.
We are streaming not just to YouTube today, but to our new X, soon to be known as Twitter. I don't know. I'm going to start a rumor that it's going back. I don't think I've got this. I don't think I've got the stroke or the clout to do that. I don't know how it shows up on X when you're
I see it.
streaming. Do
It's
you?
up and
I'm
running.
trying to go there now. Go. Why go there?
Well, on that note, my question for you is: did you have anything in mind for today's show? What's top of mind for you right now?
Well, we posted our episode 2 yesterday and shared that out. I had some audio issues. Like I don't know if you've heard feedback, but I think we fixed audio issues after episode 2. And so that was positive.
Hmm.
Positive to get past. And so that was just a learning, like the first podcast I started 4 or 5 years ago that was interrupted and not pursued. The audio issues were a pain too, so I just want to get those right. But on the AI side, I mean, I've been playing with our realtor lawyer challenge. I've kind of switched gears for
Sure.
that. I think the original idea I had was solid, but in the time we've given ourselves, I don't think I'm going to be able to like bring that to life in a really great way. So I've got a different concept that is just juxtaposing
Do you want to talk through
the
that? What was your original idea,
sure.
and where are you at now?
Sure. The original idea was around. Oh man, I gotta change this. I put it on Monday. I keep forgetting to change the stream info. See if I can change it while we're live. Now I'll have to change it afterwards. Well, if you're streaming and it says Monday, it's actually Tuesday. Um, but the original idea was around kind of the next level of staging. Okay, so like there's staging a house. You go to sell. I used to be a real estate agent, so I've in a past life I really embodied or just like immersed myself in it. The idea of staging is that people see themselves in a home. They want to buy a home that they can see themselves in, optimistically, positively. And so let's fill this with fill this empty house with make sure it's really clean, like stage it, from the ground up. And then let's put some furniture and some finishings and some flowers and some, let's bake cookies so there's an aroma, right? This idea that you're going to entice a buyer to just fall in love emotionally with a space. And so that's like a very common realtor open house move, or if you're selling your house for sale by own or something. And then came along these companies that were virtual staging. So you would bring a still two-dimensional image of a living room into a Maya or a 3D studio or whatever, and you would like position a virtual couch, and you would put
Yeah,
your love chair, your love seat, and your curtains and stuff, and your color schemes in your
that's
rug.
decade-old technology nowadays.
Virtual staging, very established, and like there's like crappy ways to do it. And I mean now, like you could go to Amazon and augmented reality, put something in your
Yeah.
room, and that uses a layer of AI.
All
Like
right.
there's
So where
there.
are you at now, though? All
Yeah,
right. So
sorry, I'm
that's
giving the
that's
long
that's where you
version.
were.
Kevin,
Yeah.
Nick's got to get back by halftime. Uh, the
Second half is starting.
the modern, I think, updated staging stack is actually breathing life into the space with humanity, quote unquote, synthetic humanity. And so taking, Midjourney, or actually what I wanted to do was take just a Zillow listing, a standard Zillow listing. So you've got your main shot, your portfolio shots, like your album, and your description and your meta details about the house, bedrooms, bathrooms, square footage, etc. And that is the source material for a next generation highlight reel. So show a family pulling up in the driveway, getting out of their car, having just purchased this house. But it's the same house. It's a real house that is now being staged with action and livelihood and etc.
With
And then
life.
go,
I mean,
yeah,
where you were imagining. I mean, like, did okay. Now, in the creation of this, a question for you is, where did you imagine people would show this off? So is this the next level realtor play with AI? So they take all the Zillow images, right? And
Yeah.
then you can take those through, run them through Runway, Kling, whatever, get breathe that setup into life, and
Yeah.
then now you have your meta ad, you have your whatever ad to then like have a leg up on against other listings in the same
Hmm.
area.
Yeah. I
That's
mean,
the idea.
real estate's a game of inches. There's thousands of homes in a median price point in a given
Right.
city, depending on the size of the city. And so you're trying to stand out. And then, even at the hyper local neighborhood or block level, you're often competing against multiple, sometimes dozens of listings. And so, yeah, I would bet, and I would like to see this bet through on a long enough time horizon here. I would bet we could build build a listing video and show a listing with and without a video. And I bet if we took, whatever net promoter score equivalent there is, like if we surveyed people, I would bet the version that has breathed humanity into the content, the trailer, the teaser, that would have a higher like positive perception.
Yeah.
And again, I don't
And
know
I
what the
mean, of
right
course,
metric is, but
yeah. I mean, historically, obviously, real estate is a prime, like, is prime real estate
mm,
for interesting ads, and they try to do things to one up one another, and so it makes complete sense not only for an agent specifically, but then for the listing as well,
yeah,
and especially for higher end properties. I mean, if you're selling your house for 2.2 mil, you've got a little bit of money to spend on the advertising for said house.
sure,
And real estate's only getting more expensive. So,
yeah,
um,
yeah. It's so
yeah.
competitive, and
Well,
it's
let me ask you
so.
this. Oh,
Go
sorry,
ahead.
good.
I was just going to say it's so competitive. It's so varied by market, by individual. To differentiate yourself as a realtor is really challenging because it's actually
Yeah,
like I don't want to say it's an easy job, but it's a simple job in that it's repetitive. You to if you're a residential realtor, you get a listing or you get a buyer, like depending on your buyer, the sell side, and then you just repeat that same consistent approach. And the variables are some details of the house, some details of the deal, some details of the individuals, but your goal actually is to reproduce. And so
yeah.
what you wind up having is this like homogeneity of um,
Oh,
of
it
of like
flattens. I
offering.
mean,
Yeah, this
absolutely.
commoditization of like, well, who do I know and whose sign do I see and what social signal do I want to put in my yard or whatever. But like, I mean, as a realtor, Ben would tell me, as the broker of the office, Ben would say like every
Back when you
marketing
used to be a realtor,
back
just
when I
to
used to be a realtor,
clarify,
yeah,
this was
as a
many, many
realtor
years ago. Yeah,
in 2007 and 2008, which is an
right.
amazing time for a young buck to get his real estate license.
Good God.
Um, Turned out to be a good thing that I moved past that quickly. But
Yeah.
the common knowledge, and I would bet that's still out there. I'd be curious if any realtors wanted to chime in on this, is that what sells the house is the sign in the yard. The
Hmm.
sign in the yard sells the house. Everything you do up until then is to appease the seller so that they don't piss you off or blow up your phone until that right driver drives by. And so I've always felt that's a challenge. Like, okay, well, if that's true, if that's accepted, how do we just win? Because if you could sell
That
it for more than the sign in the yard, like, and this was pre Zillow. This was like
I
Zillow
was going to say
wasn't
that seems
really a thing yet.
insane in
Yeah.
2025. I mean, as a complete knob, I mean, I'm the only one on this space that hasn't bought a house. So
Yeah.
I don't know what the hell I'm talking about.
Fair
But
enough.
like that seems insane. The sign in the yard in 2025, where it's not
That
1920. I
soundbite
don't.
may not have aged well. Fair enough.
Yeah.
And also, I was at a commercial real estate
Oh,
brokerage, not
all right, all right, all
residential.
right, all right. Yeah,
So
yeah, yeah.
there's a few caveats I don't want to misrepresent. But anyway,
Hold on, but pull this back to AI. We're in
you want to talk real
realty
estate?
land. Yeah, no, I don't want to.
All right.
All right, pull it back to AI. So then you're not doing that. I mean, my
I'm
question
gonna
is,
pursue that, but
I
yeah,
think that's cool. Just
yeah,
take more time. Like you
yeah,
don't
that's
have to
it.
have it by Thursday. That's fine.
No,
Don't like,
exactly. I want to take the deadlines we've given each other seriously.
yeah,
So I do have a secondary idea, which I think is just as good. It's just a completely different concept. And what it doesn't need, the hard part that I'm finding is that you can't. Okay, if I upload a picture of a listing I find into Runway or Sora or one of these video tools, you can't change that picture at all, right? That picture is representative of the product you're selling. And so I can't add a driveway and I can't add a mailbox and I can't do
Absolutely.
stuff like that that changes it. And what I've found is sometimes I can get that, sometimes I can't. And to even notice the differences is tricky. So I think there probably will have to be a purpose-built tool. You could do this. You could train a model, especially with the open source models being as good as they are, because you don't need to imagine something from scratch, right? So anyway, that's
Right.
one of the difficulties.
But that's the yeah. But if we're trying to say, hey, random realtor in like Des Moines or wherever, you know, you can do this because these tools are publicly available. Pop in your credit card, pay $20 a month for Runway or whatever, and you too can have beautiful listings come to life. That's not helpful, right? Saying that a custom model can be trained. So
No, sure.
So then what's your thought? What's
Well,
the
I think the realtors, just one more note on the idea I'm not going to pursue right this minute, but I think the idea that a realtor could do that is actually very feasible if you have the time, because it's your job, right? And like we're doing this like
Wait,
hustle
to train a
mode
model?
nights and weekends. No. To use the tools, to use
Yeah,
ChatGPT
agreed.
and Midjourney. Like if you want to generate 10 models per scene, 10 not models, 10 images per, like, because it's like, okay, I've taken a living room. I'm sorry, I took a bathroom, the nice beautiful tile in the in this listing's bathroom. I mean, shoot, I'll go ahead and show you if you want to see some of it. No reason not to.
Share it out.
I'm going to pew. Let's go here. Share my screen. We're gonna see.
It's a good song.
Thanks. Classics, only the classics. All right. So I started with this listing, okay? You can see watermarked, clearly gotten from Savannah, MLS, Savannah, Georgia, where I'm broadcasting from. So this is a pretty standard ranch style house. I think it was 273,000 square feet. No, $273,000. I think it was 1,300 square feet. And so I said, can you show a family walking up to this house proud that they purchased it? So here we go. We got mom, dad, 2 kids. A sold sign in the yard's a little cheesy, but like this is the house. This house and this house. The brush is the same. Like it's great from that standpoint, right? And I did a few others. Now look right here, because the model, it generated the kids, but then it wouldn't reproduce the kids because it said I was violating content, right?
Content policy,
right? And I was like, you did it. I didn't do
crazy.
it. But whatever.
But yes,
right?
Fair enough.
So please remix this so the adults are holding hands, right? So I got this shot. The fingers are a little wonky, but we wouldn't zoom in on that. And then I wanted a close up, so this was cool. And you could remove this, but like what I noticed here was they removed the shrubberies right here. There's no shrubs. And so like you start getting that little, like the first version had them and it was accurate. And you start getting those little tedious differences. So I just don't think that idea is something I'm going to put the time in to bring to life. Took the living room shot. It brought the sold sign in. That's fixable. This was one, beautiful bathroom remodel with some nice sharp tile. So I asked the, tool to put the woman in, admiring it. And I've got some good clips. Now, this is where it started getting real wonky. This was the backyard. And it removed a concrete platform over here. B, it like doubled up a mini me of some new mom. Like it wouldn't withhold the characters. Your version, right? When you were working with your version, you said you struggled to like keep the characters consistent.
I think
you said. And so I tried it. I was like, you didn't use the right people. And it still gave like this weird mutant mini me. And, who's putting their grill in the backyard facing the house? Like, anyway, and I tried a few more, but this was like, I think it's a good idea. I think it will come to life. I think someone who had the focus could bring this to life right now, and in 3-6 months time, this can be auto generated. Like I could see platforms having the tools that like just create these.
I mean, to me, it's a question of like it's thinking about where the ball is going in image generation, right? And so would I be shocked in 6 months' time with the new with the next drop from GPT or Midjourney or whatever that you start to be able to, fix these types of issues? Absolutely. I wouldn't be
Yeah.
shocked at all.
Yeah. No,
So,
they
but okay.
seem very
So
linear.
then I still am unsure of, you haven't said where you're going, what you've
Oh
changed it.
yeah,
So what do you,
fair enough. So then my brain went to like, what is the message? And we've talked so much about what we're doing with this channel around like not, people throwing up their hands and saying, well, it's the technology. I can't beat the machine, and I don't believe that's how this is going to play out in most cases. And so really having a spot that would differentiate the humanity versus the automation. And I've said it a few times. It's one of my like flags that I fly is that the one thing AI cannot do is be responsible for something, take responsibility for something at a level like you and I can take responsibility for. It cannot be accountable because there is no risk because everything about its positioning is synthetic, right? And so
yeah.
what are the steps in the real estate journey, the common residential real estate journey that require responsibility and accountability? And so like, yeah, sure, you can have automation for the busy work. I think that's great. But Arsenal
Woo, we
score?
scored.
What? Missed it.
Oh, free kick,
Nice.
Declan Rice, baby.
All right.
Yes.
A genuine
Yes.
reaction. Genuine reaction.
Oh,
So
holy crap. Okay. All right.
AI,
What's this dumb thing
what
you're
are the
talking about? I'm sorry. I'm just kidding.
No, it's what are the touch points that require responsibility and accountability in the residential real estate buying process. And so
Okay.
I'm thinking of it as a buyer. Maybe, I don't know, maybe a seller is a more interesting route, but I'm thinking of it as a buyer, as like your realtor finds you a house. Well, actually, in modern times, you find the houses probably because you've got a search engine in your pocket for those, right? But then you need to show up. You need to show up at the open house. Well, there's a lot of conflicting information. Does the AI know when the open house is? Can you say, book me a showing? Well, 1 out of 10 is hallucinating the times, and you show up and there's nobody there. Whereas the human being can be fired and cares if they're fired, and so they're not going to get that time wrong. So like, just that's about as far as I've gotten with the
I'm
concept, and then a bunch of
I'm
examples there.
okay. I'm just I don't know what you're like talking about making. What
It would be
like
showing the video would be showing scenes like A and B. Like if you're using an AI realtor, like
uh-huh.
then you have these mistakes that are possible and probable. Then you have these errors, and then you show the human being getting them right. And the point is, these are there are mission critical things in this process that cannot evaporate just because
Oh. So
GPT-5 gets. I'm creating the value for the realtor for
you're
showing
showing the human value. You're using AI to show that AI still sucks, X
where
percentage
it's
and
good
that
and
you
where it's
need to.
not. It's not that it
Yeah.
sucks like a
Okay.
percentage wise. I don't think of
No,
it
yeah.
that way. It's that
Right, right,
again,
right, right.
I'm on a track. I'm on a track that I don't think LLMs like, and this maybe brings me closer to your worldview about LLMs not being the architecture of ASI or the true,
Right.
super intelligence or even general intelligence. And I think like you just can't be responsible for things. And so therefore, like when you have steps in a process that have to have true accountability, then that's where you have to have humans in that loop. And defining it
Yeah.
like that
Okay.
across
Cool.
professions, I think is a good thing to communicate, because like, again, I think there's a lot of people that are just worried. They're like, oh shit, what am I going to do? What's my job going to be when AI does all of it? And it's like, well, it can't do all of it. So that's my rambling, poorly articulated curveball. Even though I like my
Uh,
first idea better, I gotta get, I don't know. I'm trying to take the timeline seriously and without throwing out the good ideas.
uh, I like it. I think it'll be interesting. I'm interested to see sort of how you craft that together. Um, and yeah, I don't know. It's well, now that Arsenal are up 1-0, I feel a
Mm-hmm.
lot better. I do want to
Good,
say that.
good.
I was gonna try and do some searching because I actually don't know really like how deep AI is being used in the world of soccer. But I didn't get to do that, so I was
Ah,
going to bring that up. But um, I think that's great for today.
yeah.
I like the update, and I'm interested to see where it's going. And yeah, I don't know. You got anything else you want to chat about before we drop?
No, I think we'll have these for anybody watching. We'll have these published on Thursday. These spots that we're
Oh, and by
talking about.
these things,
Yeah.
I've been working on something in the space of wow, in personal injury lawyers.
Yeah.
Jesse took real estate, and I took the legal profession.
We
So
draw. We drew straws and got the two shortest ones.
exactly, yeah.
Yeah, so we'll be publishing basically candidate next gen spots for those two fields, just trying to spark some conversation there and put these tools through their paces. How do we actually apply, not just prototype like, fever dream ideas, but how do we actually like have production grade outputs or the beginnings of those in a week's time. So yeah, check back tomorrow and Thursday and we'll be sharing that. And awesome. Cool, Nick. Well, we'll talk to you soon. Take care.
See it.
See ya.